All right, welcome everyone to Wine Talk with Tesh. It's your boy Tesh, and I'm here to talk about wine. And I appreciate you guys making time to come log in. And if you went and picked up the wines, to actually go and buy the wines and participate. So before we jump into the wines, I wanted to give a couple of shout outs. So first shout out I want to give to Erin Ritchie. Erin is a good friend of mine. I've worked with her for years. She currently works for Gelato, and she actually sells and represents these wines. And she was awesome to work with because often what you find as a som is that you need somebody to educate you, right? We're always learning, and Erin more than knows her stuff. And she educated me on both of these wines, and then I was therefore able to bring them to you and share them with you guys. So shout out to Erin. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love you. And shout out to, as always, Chris Sinclair and Emily Newhouser at Good Bottle. If you guys have been following me at all, you know that I've teamed up with Good Bottle a few times. They're awesome people. They have great product, and they're located in downtown. And so go love them, go support them. They're a new business that has recently opened, and they're trying to get off the ground. So good local spot to be able to go support. So on that same note, kind of a side project of Chris Sinclair's is this company called Fluid Concepts. And Fluid Concepts is basically they're doing a lot of things like this, right? They have a couple of their own shows. They're doing a lot of production. As a matter of fact, today behind the scenes, I got my dude Jordan behind from home, from a safe distance, kind of helping me. He's going to be throwing up maps and stuff and some pictures of the wines that we'll be tasting. So shout out to Fluid Concepts again. I thank you and I appreciate you guys. So without further ado, let's jump into the wines. If you have both of the wines, go ahead and pour yourself the first bottle. The first one that we're going to be drinking today, Jordan will throw up a picture in a second, is going to be the Chapoutier Viognier called La Combe Pilate, which is coming from the northern Rhone region. So one thing that I wanted to tell you guys about this wine in particular is the label is very unique. Let's start with that, okay? And actually, I lied. Let's talk about the history. Chapoutier as a winery has been around since the 1800s, right? The estate has changed hands over time within the family, right? It's been passed down from generation to generation. In 1990, Michel Chapoutier took over. And Michel Chapoutier is the most decorated winemaker in the world. And there's no other way to put it. The man makes incredible wine, and he gets the most awards for them. He's received the most 100-point scores from Robert Parker. He consistently gets like mid to high 90s for most of his wines. And they are incredible to drink now, and they're incredible to drink, some of them, much further down the road, just depending on what you get. But as a winery, they're very, very well established, and Michel Chapoutier just kills it, okay? So that being said, on the label, if you have the bottle, you'll notice one of the first things right away is when you grab the bottle, you touch the front of the label, and you'll notice that there's Braille on it. And that is a little tribute to Maurice Monnier de la Cizeron, who actually owned the original vineyard that the Chapoutiers purchased from in Hermitage. And Hermitage is a small region. As a matter of fact, while I'm on that note, Hermitage is a small region within northern Rhone. So let's talk about the Rhone Valley. Jordan, if you can, throw up the first map of France, and then I'll kind of guide you guys on where we're at. So we're in France, where you can see towards like the southeastern side of the map, you'll notice a small region called the Rhone Valley. And then if we zoom into that by bringing up the next map of the Rhone Valley, so there's, I'm looking at it like 15 seconds behind, so that's just funny. Perfect. So there's the Rhone Valley, right? Now we're into the northern Rhone Valley on the next one. And it can kind of be divided into two separate regions. Like you think about like the northern Rhone and the southern Rhone, mostly because they do very, very different things. The Northern Rhone region is primarily committed to Syrah, a little bit of Marsanne Roussanne, a little bit of Viognier, a lot of Syrah. The Southern Rhone is kind of all over the place. You get a lot of Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre blends. You're allowed to use a ton more grapes there. And so wildly different. But however, today we're in the Northern Rhone for this particular wine. And there's a small region in the northern portion where they do 100% Viognier, much like this wine is. Small region called Condrieu. Now, Condrieu is delicious. Condrieu, generally speaking, is also quite expensive. And so it's nice to have Chapoutier doing this wine out of a region that's not necessarily designated Condrieu, because you're able to get something on your table that I think is the quality level that represents his winery without having to break your bank. And I've had Condrieux that like wholesale for like $65, $80, and they're bomb, they're incredible, but that's wholesale prices, right? The retail probably is even higher, right? Or I know is even higher. So anyways, I digress on that note. So we're in Northern Rhone. The winery itself is located in Hermitage, right? This particular grapes come from a vineyard that surrounds the farmhouse that's in the middle of Chapoutier's. It's his farmhouse. And as such, you'll see on the label, it's got an image of the alchemy. As a matter of fact, Jordan, if you could throw back the image of the bottle, you'll see the alchemy image, and that's in reference to the spirit of the winemaking, right? Because again, this is a biodynamic produced wine. And yes, Ralph and Marianne, I know you're watching. It is a witchcraft produced wine, and it is beautiful. It's delicious. What else can I tell you about the label? Oh, important, right? So spirit of the wine, the Braille, tribute to the previous owner of the vineyards. On the top right of the bottle, it says La Combe Pilate. So the history goes is that, let's break down La Combe Pilate. La Combe Pilate. La Combe means the hill, and Pilate is in reference to Pontius Pilate. And the theory is that Pontius Pilate actually spent his last few years in a region that is very close to where this wine comes from. So they wanted to pay a little tribute to him too. So La Combe Pilate is just a reference to the hill of Pontius Pilate, or the hill of Pilate. Now, diving into the wine. 100% Viognier and absolutely delicious. It's biodynamically produced. It spends about 10 months on the lease inside of 600-liter barrels, and it's beautifully done. When you smell it, it's very floral, and it has a really nice like grapefruit note to it. Mine's been sitting in the glass for just a minute, so it's had a moment to open up a little bit. This is totally a wine. Right when I smell it, I'm already kind of thinking like I wish I was like chilling poolside and just hanging out. And then when you drink it, you get even more of that intense like citrus, like grapefruit almost. What I really like about this Viognier is that Viognier, you can't just go to a store and say, I want a bottle of Viognier. It's kind of a broad spectrum, right? Because you can get Viognier that is super lean, super crisp. You can also have Viogniers that are like steely and woolly. Yes, I said that right, steely and woolly. And there's a wide range of what you can get from Viognier based on the terroir and the winemaking process and what they were trying to capture for the wine, right? But this particular one, I feel like is a good in-between, because you get texture from the aging on the lees in the barrel. So it has this nice weight to the wine. So even though it's like, even though it has, it has a nice acidity, and it has this really nice like citrusy, grapefruity character to it, it still has some like texture and body to the wine, which makes it very, very mouth-wateringly delicious. So I'm going to drink some more, because that is really, really good. I think I touched on everything on that bottle. So I hope you guys like that one as much as I do. If you have any questions, you can type it in right now, and my guy Jordan will just kind of whisper them in my ear and let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll give you guys a second to do that in case you do. And I'm going to drink a little bit more because what's the point of talking about wine if you can't drink it? So. All right, cool. All right. I hope you guys like that one as much as I do. If I were pairing it with something, man, I would think like a lean fish would be really, really good. Um, yeah, I just think it would lend a lot to any type of lean fish. Um, yeah, I would even throw poultry out there, I think, as a secondary option of something to pair it with. Now, the second one, Cusumano Grillo. If you have it, pour yourself a glass. We'll get the image up on the screen here. And there's about this wine, so it doesn't have as much history as Chapoutier does, right? Chapoutier has been there for a long, long time. Cusumano, by comparison, is quite young. However, this is one of those wines that just like smacks you so hard in the face, you're like, oh my God, I gotta have more of it, right? Because it's just so damn good. And it's a producer that's fairly young. They've only been around since 2001. It's founded by Alberto and Diego Cusumano with the help of their father, Francesco. And they were set out to basically just make delicious wines with a bit of a perfectionist, right? I feel like all winemakers kind of say that, but with a bit of a perfectionist approach. So for this particular wine, we're in Sicily. Jordan will throw up the map here in a second. Of course, you guys know where Sicily is. But within Sicily, we're going to be in the northwestern corner where Cusumano comes from. There's a small region called Pietroso, which is a very small kind of vineyard area within a region known as Monreal. And from within that region, we're enjoying this particular grape called Grillo. Grillo is indigenous to Sicily. So if you find it somewhere else, I haven't had any. I've only had it from this particular region. And this is actually my first introduction to it. So this is a new wine even for me. It's only something that I've read about and heard about. So when I tried it, I was excited to try it. And then I was also pleasantly surprised. So on the label, it says Chamaris in big bold letters right across the top. And what they say it translates to, I couldn't confirm the translation, but what they say it translates to is the sea that sparkles. And at first you're kind of like, first you're kind of like, well, the sea that sparkles, is this sparkling wine? Is it da 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 da? It's not. It's still white wine, but it makes more sense once you actually taste the glass, why they call it the sea that sparkles. So aging here, 4 months, stainless steel. Nothing crazy, right? It does spend the 4 months on the lease, so it has a little bit of texture. But if you have your glass, pour yourself a glass. And if you saw my post and you decided to go out and get oysters, now is the time to have them shucked and enjoy it with this particular wine. And here is why. I'm going to drink some because it smells and tastes delicious. So there's a lot of like honeydew melon and a little bit of like a nutty almond note on this wine. And when you taste it though, you get that like almost kind of like honeydew melon and that nuttiness. But what you really get a ton of is salinity. It's like I feel like I'm drinking the ocean, right? And it is the perfect combo to have something in wine that reminds you of where things come from, right? That's the kind of wine that you want to pair with something, right? So when you're thinking like this comes from the ocean, I want something from the ocean. What do I want in particular? I would love some oysters with this. Ella, open back up, man, because I need oysters back in my life. I need fresh oysters back in my life. Um, so very, very high in salinity here, and I think it really over delivers. This is one of those wines that like a lot of people probably haven't heard of. It's not very popular right now, but I think give it like another 10 years and people are going to be talking about Cusumano because this is incredible. You talk about like a poolside wine, I think it's absolutely stunning. Both regions, by the way, I didn't really talk about soil and terroir. Both wines happen to have like similar soil types. So in in Chapoutier, there's a lot of clay, quartz, right, limestone. In Cusumano, it's like really rich clay. It's like 1,300 feet above sea level, and I think you get a really good idea of like a sense of place with this wine. Because if I was sitting on top of a 1,300, 1,300 feet above sea level at Cusumano, and I was drinking this wine, I imagine that I'm probably feeling the ocean breeze and just having a fantastic time. So, so yeah, that's this wine. I hope you guys love this one as much as I do. I think it is stunning, and I'm totally gonna finish both of these bottles tonight. And also, thank you guys for making time to join in on a Wednesday. I know normally I've been doing them on Fridays, but I'm going on a little camping trip with my family this weekend, so we had to adjust the schedule a little bit. So there you have it. If you don't know, if you did not know about Michel Chapoutier and the badass that he is as a winemaker and a badass they are as a winery, now you know. And if you did not know about Cusumano, like I did not know about Cusumano, now you know. There's another stunning wine. Again, these are both fantastic wines for the summertime that are not your normal, right? A lot of people think like rosé, Chardonnay. Go get a bottle of Viognier and have a ball. Go get a bottle of Grillo and have a ball. So thank you guys again for tuning in, for supporting. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Another shout out to Good Bottle for making it happen and for hooking you guys up with these wines. Aaron Ritchie, again, thank you for educating me all the time. And Jordan and Fluid Concepts, thank you guys for all of your help as well. So I'll do another one of these in 2 weeks, but I won't be posting the wines within the next few days. I'm going to need some time early next week to make that happen, and then we'll meet the week after. So thanks again. Hope to hang out with you guys soon in person, and much love. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, take care. Cheers.